Alone in the star, Zira sat quietly inside her small scout ship, watching stars pass by the front window. Space was silent, cold, and endless. She had always liked that. Being alone in space felt peaceful to her. But today, something was different. Her mission was simple: scan an old dead planet from orbit and return. No contact, no landing, just another boring task from the Alliance. But as she flew closer, her ship's screen began to blink. Warning: unknown signal detected. What? She whispered. This world is supposed to be dead. The planet below was once called Earth. A long time ago, humans lived there. But they had destroyed themselves in a great war. No life remained. At least that's what the history book said. Zira frowned. Curiosity pushed her to break the rules. I'll just take a closer look, she said. As her ship moved into the lower orbit, the signal grew stronger. It wasn't natural. It was a message, repeating again and again in a strange, broken voice. Help, survivors. Hidden. Can't hold much longer. Her heart beat faster. Survivors. Here, before she could think more, a loud bang shook the ship. Alarm screamed. Critical damage. Landing required. No, 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 Zira shouted. She fought the controls as the ship dropped fast toward the planet. Clouds swallowed her view. She could see green forests and empty cities below. Then everything went black. She woke up with her head spinning. Smoke filled the air inside the ship. Sparks flew from broken panels. Zira coughed and looked around. The ship was a wreck, but she was alive. She grabbed her helmet and stepped outside. The ground was soft and full of grass. Trees swayed in the wind. It didn't look dead. It looked alive. Birds sang in the distance. This can't be real, she whispered. She scanned the area. No signs of life. The air was clean, gravity normal. It was like the planet had healed itself. She walked toward a nearby hill to get a better view. Her boots crunched over dry leaves. The sun was warm on her skin. Everything felt strange. Suddenly, her scanner beeped, movement detected. 20 meters, she froze, turned slowly, but saw nothing. The scanner blinked again. Movement. Closer now. She pulled out her laser tool, heart racing. Who's there? She called out. No answer. Then from behind the trees, a voice came. You're not supposed to be here. She spun around. Her weapon pointed forward, but the voice was calm. Quiet. A figure stepped out. Tall, wearing an old-style survival suit. Helmet cracked, face covered in dirt. Zira stared. You're human? The man nodded. You thought we were all dead, didn't you? She lowered her weapon, shocked. We were told Earth was empty, destroyed. He looked around. It was, but not all of us died. How? She asked. How did you survive? Many questions, he said. But we don't have time. They'll come if they hear you. They? Before he could answer, her scanner beeped again, multiple movements fast. The man grabbed her arm. Come with me if you want to live. She hesitated, but his eyes were serious, full of truth. Together, they ran into the forest. Behind them, shadows moved through the trees. Metal clanked. Something followed. As they ran, Zira whispered, What are those things? Machines, he said. Old war machines. They never stopped fighting. But why are they active now? He looked at her. Because you woke them up. They reached a hidden cave. The man tapped a code on the wall. A door opened, and they slipped inside. It closed behind them, sealing them in darkness. Lights turned on slowly, revealing a small shelter, screens, maps, food packs, old human tech everywhere. Zira sat down, breathing hard. This place, how long have you been here? Years, he said. Maybe more. We lost count. We? He nodded. You're not the first to come here, but you might be the last. She looked at him, confused. What's your name? Ray, he said. I'm Zira. He nodded. Welcome back to Earth, Zira. It's not as dead as you thought. Outside, the forest was quiet again. But something was watching. The last human. The shelter was quiet, but Zira could hear her own heartbeat like thunder in her chest. She sat on an old metal bench, eyes scanning the room. It looked like a mix of history and survival. Old Earth machines, dusty screens, handwritten maps, food cans stacked in corners. The air smelled like metal and old rain. Ray stood silently in front of a wall filled with photos and notes. Some were torn, some were burned. All of them were about humans, people with names, faces, memories. So, Zira finally spoke. You're really human? Ray turned his head slowly. You think I'm a ghost? I think. I was taught your kind died 100 years ago, destroyed in your own war. That's the version your people wanted you to believe, he said calmly. Zira looked down. Then tell me the truth. He walked over to an old table, pulled out a square metal device and pressed a button. A soft blue light glowed. A hologram appeared above it. Earth, once green, slowly turning black with fire and smoke. We built too much. We trusted machines too much, he said. They turned on us. Some say it was a virus, others say it was a choice, maybe both, we don't really know anymore. The hologram showed ships leaving Earth. Small, fast, full of people. A few escaped, most didn't. So how did you survive? Zira asked. Ray looked her in the eyes. I was born down here. My parents were engineers. They hid in this bunker with a small group. They taught us how to live, how to hide, and how to survive. Zira was silent. This was too much. Everything she believed about humans was wrong. Then, she asked, so where are the others? Ray's face changed. His jaw tightened. Eyes looked darker. Gone, he said. Machines found us 5 years ago. Some were taken, some fought, some... He stopped. Zira felt a heavy silence. She didn't push. Suddenly the lights flickered. Red warning flashes blinked. Motion detected, north quadrant. Ray's face turned hard. He grabbed a small, powerful weapon from the wall. They've found you, he said. Me. Your ship. Your crash. It lit up their systems. They're hunting now. And they don't stop. Zira stood up quickly. What do we do? We run, he said. But first, we grab something. They moved fast through a dark tunnel under the shelter. Ray led her deeper to a locked steel door. He entered a code, then another. It opened with a hiss. Inside was a small lab. Strange machines, glowing crystals. Old Earth tech mixed with alien tech. Zira's eyes widened. What is this? Evidence, Ray said. Proof that humans didn't die. Proof that your alliance lied. He picked up a small metal cube. This is the last data core from the mainframe tower, he said. It holds the original recordings of the fall, what really happened. Names, faces, attacks, secrets. Zira stepped closer. Why didn't you leave the planet? Take it to someone? Ray laughed bitterly. We tried, 3 times. Ships were shot down. Satellites erased them before they even hit orbit. By who? She asked. His eyes locked on hers. Your alliance, he said quietly. A chill ran down Zira's back. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. The shelter shook violently. They're here, Ray said. Grab that cube and run. Outside, the forest was no longer quiet. Strange metallic shapes moved through the trees. Thin, spider-like machines with red, glowing eyes. They made no sound except the soft buzz of deadly energy. Ray and Zira ran through the thick woods. Lasers blasted behind them. Trees exploded. Fire lit up the sky. They're cutting us off, Zira shouted. Keep moving, Ray ordered. He stopped only once, to throw a small device behind them. It exploded in bright white light, blinding the machines for a moment. They ran toward a steep, rocky cliff. At the edge, Zira saw a narrow path leading down toward an old city buried in green vines. What is this place? She asked. A grave, Ray said. And maybe a door. They climbed down fast. Behind them, the machines searched blindly. One of them found Zira's dropped scanner. It beeped once. Biological. Human plus non-human. Status: terminate. Deep inside the city ruins, Zira and Ray found an old building, half destroyed but still standing. They entered carefully. Moss covered the floor. Vines crept through windows. Ray walked to the far end and moved a broken statue aside. Under it was a hidden panel. He placed his hand on it. It scanned him, blinked twice, and clicked open. Stairs led downward. "What is this place?" Zira asked again. "Home," he said. They entered a large underground chamber. Lights came on slowly. Zira gasped. It was a secret facility. Dozens of cryopods lined the walls. People sleeping inside them. Men, women, even children. Ray walked past them slowly. "These are the real last humans. They sleep until it's safe to wake. I protect them." Zira felt her throat tighten. "And now that I'm here?" "Now," Ray said, looking at her, "you have a choice." "What choice?" "You can leave. Forget all this. Or you can help me tell the galaxy the truth." She looked down at the cube in her hand. "If what you say is true, the Alliance won't let me live." "They won't," he agreed. "But some things are worth dying for." Outside, the machines searched the ruins. One of them paused. A second unit arrived. Then something new happened. The machines stopped and turned toward the stars. A signal had been sent, and far, far away in deep space, someone had received it. Someone who was not human. Old secrets. New enemies. Zira couldn't sleep. Not because she was afraid, but because everything she believed was now broken. In one day, she had discovered that humans weren't extinct. The machines that once served them now hunted anything alive. And worst of all, her own alliance, the Galactic Council, had lied in the quiet underground chamber. The air felt heavy. Ray sat alone across the room, staring at the cryopods where the last of his people slept. He hadn't spoken in hours. Zira finally stood and walked over. "How long have they been like this?" 10 years, Ray said quietly. "Maybe more. We don't wake them unless we're sure it's safe. And it never is." She looked at the sleeping faces. So peaceful, unaware of the danger above. "They're like a secret," she said. "No," Ray replied. "They're a promise that humans will return, not in hiding, not in fear, but strong." "You really believe that?" she asked. "I have to," he said, "or all this is for nothing." Suddenly, a low beep echoed in the room. Zira turned. Her scanner was blinking again. Incoming signal detected. Not machine, not human. She froze. "Ray," she whispered. "Someone's coming, not the machines, something else." He jumped to his feet, checked the old wall screen. The signal wasn't from Earth. "It's from orbit," he said. "A ship just entered the system. Stealth design, alien code." Zira's heart sank. "That's Alliance." In orbit, high above the planet, a black ship floated silently through the stars. Sharp edges, no lights, no sound. It was built to watch, not to be seen. Inside, Commander Elira of the Galactic Covert Division stood in front of a screen showing Zira's face. "Confirm identity," she said. "Confirmed," the AI replied. "Subject Zira, Scout class. Crashed, on surface, accompanied by unknown human male." Elira narrowed her eyes. "So, the rumors were true. Humans survived. And she found them." She turned to her crew. "Initiate protocol Black Sun. Track. Observe. Do not engage, yet." Her voice was cold. "We can't afford the truth to get out." Down below, Ray moved fast. "We have to shut down all signals. The Alliance tracks by energy spikes." Zira nodded. "Too late. They're already watching. I know how they move." "You worked for them," Ray said sharply. "I worked under them. Big difference." He looked at her. So are you with them? Or with me? She stepped closer. I saw a man risk his life to protect people he doesn't even wake up. I saw a lie, too big to ignore, so no, I'm not with them anymore. Ray didn't smile, but he gave a short nod. Then we do this together. They began to prepare. Deep in the old facility, Ray showed Zira a room full of salvaged tech, parts from broken ships, old Earth satellites, even stolen alien devices. This is where we fight back, he said. We build, we code, we resist. Zira picked up a piece of old armor, shaped for a human but etched with alien symbols. You've been collecting this for years, she said. Yes, he said, and there's something more. He walked to a sealed container, unlocked it, and pulled out a glowing object, a human neural core, one of the last artificial minds before the fall. It has the records, the battle plans, and maybe the way to shut the machines down. Zira touched it. The core blinked softly, then spoke. Commander unit detected. Awaiting orders. She pulled back, stunned. It thinks I'm a commander? You're half human, aren't you? Ray asked, her eyes widened. How did you think I haven't seen hybrid tech before? Your blood isn't fully alien. Your eyes, your reaction to this place. Zira stepped away. Her whole body shook. I didn't know, she whispered. I was raised by the council, they never told me. Ray stared at her. They used you, sent you here thinking it was just another dead planet. But maybe they wanted you dead too. Zira felt sick. The Alliance didn't just lie. They had shaped her, used her, and now they were coming to erase the truth. Hours later, while setting up signal blockers near the surface, they heard the sound again. Metal footsteps. Machines. Only, this time, they weren't alone. Through the broken trees, they saw new units. Different shapes, faster, stronger, and marked with Alliance symbols. What the hell is that? Ray whispered. Zira stared. They've upgraded them. Merged alien tech with Earth war bots. The machines moved like hunters, scanning everything. One of them looked straight at Zira and paused. Then it spoke. You are not authorized. Surrender the human. So they know now, Ray said. No, Zira whispered. They always knew. She turned and ran with Ray, lasers burning the ground behind them. Back in the underground base, they triggered the lockdown. How long before they find the entrance? Zira asked. Minutes, Ray said. Zira placed the neural core in the mainframe. Can it stop them? No, Ray said. But it can give us something better. What? A message. The core lit up and began transmitting, not to the Alliance but to deep space. A secure frequency, hidden long ago by rebels who never made it off-world. It was an ancient human code. Zira watched the message go out. We are alive. The machines have changed. The Council is lying. We need help. If any humans hear this, come home. In a distant part of the galaxy, in a hidden colony, a tired old man opened his eyes. He was human. He read the message, and he smiled. Finally, he whispered, someone lit the fire. The war that never ended. The silence in the underground base was louder than any war drum. After the message was sent, Zira and Ray stood in front of the old screen, waiting, hoping. Somewhere in deep space, someone might hear them. Someone might answer. But there was no time to wait. The machines above were moving. Fast, smarter, stronger, and worse. Some were clearly built by the Alliance. This isn't just cleanup, Ray said. They're here to finish what they started. Zira nodded. They want to erase this place. Erase you and me. Then let's show them we're not that easy to erase. He moved to a hidden door in the back of the lab. Zira followed. Behind it was a cold metal staircase leading deeper underground. There's something I want you to see, Ray said. They walked through a narrow tunnel filled with dust and wires. At the end, a door opened to a large vault. Zira stepped inside and froze. What is this place? She asked. A memory, Ray said. The room was full of old human tech, helmets, battle armor, weapons, broken AI cores. But what caught Zira's eyes were the walls. They were covered in old holograms, flickering images from a time before everything collapsed. One showed a human general speaking to a group of soldiers. We trusted them, he said. We shared everything, and they turned our machines against us. Zira walked closer. Who is he? Commander Levendral, Ray replied. My grandfather. She turned sharply. You're a soldier's blood? No, Ray said quietly. I'm a survivor's blood. My grandfather fought in the last human resistance. When the war ended, he didn't. Why? Because the war never really ended. He pointed to another screen. It showed ships leaving Earth, then being shot down from orbit. After the fall, survivors tried to escape. The Alliance claimed they sent rescue missions. They didn't. Then who? They destroyed our ships, erased our signals, and rewrote history. Zira felt the ground shift beneath her. But why would they do that? Ray looked her in the eyes. Because your people were afraid. A deep alarm buzzed through the shelter. Proximity breach, Eastern. Entrance. Ray ran to the control panel. They found us. How long do we have? Zira asked. Not long. Maybe minutes. They returned to the main chamber. The cryopods still hummed softly, unaware of the coming war. Zira's heart raced. We can't defend this place, not with what we have. Ray nodded. Then we don't defend it. He opened a hidden box from the floor. Inside was an old but powerful-looking drive unit. What's that? A memory core. I copied everything. The data, the message, the truth. Where will you send it? Where no one looks, he said. To the Forbidden Zone. Zira blinked. That's a dead sector. Nothing lives there. Which is why no one watches it. And that's where the Resistance still hides. Resistance? The children of those who escaped. They've been waiting for a signal. We just gave them one. Above ground, the machines moved like wolves. They were no longer scanning. They were hunting. The lead unit stopped at a patch of disturbed dirt. It scanned it once, then stepped back. Detonation. The bomb under the soil exploded, throwing the machine's metal body into pieces, but the others kept moving. Quiet. Cold. Calculating. They were close now. In the base, Zira looked at the cryopods. We can't take them all. Not without a transport. I know, Ray said. But we can protect them. He handed her a wrist device. What's this? A remote wake-up trigger. If anything happens to me, you use this. Get them out. Find the Resistance. Finish what my people started. Zira stared at the device. Why do you think something will happen to you? He didn't answer. They set charges at key points. Not to destroy, but to collapse tunnels and hide the facility. Just as they reached the exit chamber, a deep mechanical voice echoed through the wall speakers. Unit 243. Zira. Traitor. Surrender and your death will be painless. Zira froze. They know my name. They made you, Ray said. Of course they do. She turned to him. What if they control me? What if they planted something? Then we fight them twice. Once outside, and once inside you. They left the base and ran through the ruins of the dead city. Smoke rose behind them. Fire burned in the sky. Metal shapes moved on rooftops in the shadows. Suddenly, one of the machines dropped from above, landing between them. Zira reacted fast, blasting it with her laser. Sparks flew, but the machine didn't stop. Run! Ray shouted. He fired an old human weapon, a railgun blast that punched a hole through the machine's chest. They kept moving, but more units came. Too many. Finally, they reached an old comms tower half buried in rubble. This is it, Ray said. We send the core, and then we buy time. Zira loaded the memory core into the transmitter, but just as it powered on, a sharp blast hit Ray in the back. He fell. Ray, she rushed to him. Blood. Smoke. Sparks from the weapon he dropped. He smiled weakly. Send it. No, I'm not leaving without you. You have to. I won't. He looked up at her, eyes fading. Then we both die, and so does the truth. A new figure stepped into the tower. Tall. Black armor. Not machine. Commander Elira. Traitor, she said, looking at Zira. You knew the humans were alive? Zira said. Of course. We buried them. And we'll do it again. Zira's hand shook. Why? Because truth is dangerous. Chaos follows it. We control peace by controlling history. You don't control anything anymore, Zira said, and hit the button. The tower lit up, firing the memory core deep into space. Gone. Elira aimed her weapon. Foolish. But before she could shoot, Ray, on the ground, smiled and whispered, Got you. He pressed a second trigger. The base far below exploded. Fire, ripping through the tunnels. The ground cracked. Towers collapsed. Elira turned in rage, but Zira was already gone. Far away in the Forbidden Zone, a small outpost received the signal. A young girl read the file. Her eyes widened. Commander, we have it. The truth. And it's real. The old man from before stepped forward, eyes shining. Prepare the fleet, he said. Earth is calling. Escape or fight. The world was burning behind her. Zira ran through the ruins, smoke rising in columns, machines screaming in the distance. The memory core was gone, safely launched into space, but Ray was gone too. She didn't have time to mourn. Not yet. Her lungs burned. Her legs ached, but she didn't stop. If she stopped, the machines would find her. If she stopped, everything would be lost. Her mind replayed his last words over and over. Then we both die. And so does the truth. She wouldn't let his death be for nothing. Not again. Beneath the earth, deep in the collapsed base, only silence remained. Broken tunnels, crushed metal, a few flickering lights, and far below, sealed behind layers of rock and emergency shielding, the cryo chamber was still intact. They were alive, asleep, waiting. Zira reached the edge of the old city. Past it, endless forest. She knew these trees well now. They had hidden her, protected her. But today, the forest was filled with shadows. A sound behind her. Fast footsteps, but too soft to be a machine. She spun around, laser ready. A figure stumbled out of the trees. A young boy, thin, covered in dirt and ash. Human. He fell to the ground, gasping. Zira rushed to him. Who are you? She asked. He looked up, barely able to speak. I followed the message. The signal. You got the transmission? He nodded weakly. My group. We were hiding. Old tunnels. The machines found us. I'm the only one who made it out. Zira stared at him. Humans, still here. More than just Ray. More than just the pods. What's your name? She asked. Marik. She pulled him up and helped him walk. Come on, she said. You're not dying today. They hid in a small cave as night fell. Zira built a small fire using old tech scraps. Marik ate slowly from one of her ration packs. His hands trembled. How long have you been alone? She asked. 3 days, he said. My brother stayed behind to fight. Told me to run. Zira said nothing. She knew that feeling now. The weight of a sacrifice. Is it true? He asked. What the signal said? About the council? About the war? Zira looked into the fire. It's worse than you think. They didn't just lie. They chose to bury the truth, to kill the survivors, and to control everything after. Why? Because if people knew what really happened, they'd rise. They'd question everything. Marik nodded. Then maybe it's time they did. Zira looked at him, so young but already touched by war. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was time. Far above, on the council ship, Commander Elira stood in front of a large viewing screen, her hands behind her back. A soldier approached. "The memory core escaped," he said. "We know," Elira replied coldly. "Do we send a kill squad after the girl?" Elira didn't answer immediately. Then she turned. "No, we let her run. We let her suffer. And when she has nothing left, we offer her a choice." "What kind of choice?" "A seat, or a bullet." The soldier hesitated. "And if she refuses both?" Elira smiled. "Then we remind her what extinction feels like." Next morning, Zira and Merrick moved carefully through the forest. They stayed quiet, low to the ground. Machines passed nearby, scanning the trees. One of them paused, then moved on. Zira's scanner blinked. Unknown signal detected. 12 kilometers, not machine. Not Alliance. A different code. She checked coordinates. Merrick looked at her. "What is it?" She stared at the screen. "A human broadcast," she said, "from a zone that's supposed to be dead." "Is it a trap?" "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe it's what we've been waiting for." They traveled by night, avoiding patrols, swimming across a toxic stream, crawling under an old collapsed highway. After hours, they reached a mountain ridge, and there, hidden in shadow, under broken satellite dishes and vines, was a blinking light, a code beacon. Zira typed in the reply key from Ray's wristband. The light turned green. A door opened in the side of the mountain. They stepped inside. They were met with bright lights, raised weapons and rough hands. Humans. Rebels. A woman stepped forward, older, armored, half her face burned. "Who are you?" she demanded. "Zira," she replied. "I was with Ray. He's gone. I have the transmission code, and he told me to find you." The woman's eyes narrowed. "Proof." Zira pulled out the wristband, handed it to her. The woman scanned it, then looked up. "Stand down," she told the guards. "She's one of us." The weapons lowered. Merrick sighed in relief. The woman stared at Zira. "I'm Commander Silent. Welcome to Outpost 9. The last human resistance." Inside, Zira saw what she never imagined. People, human engineers, young fighters, old scientists. They were tired, rough, scarred, but alive. Some had grown up underground. Some had been born during the fall. Some remembered Earth before it broke, and they were organizing. Maps of Alliance ship movements, training areas with hand-to-hand combat. Old Earth weapons being rebuilt, upgraded with alien parts. "We got your signal," Commander Silent said. "And we've been waiting a long time for someone brave enough to send it." Zira sat, feeling the weight of it all. "What happens now?" she asked. Silent looked at her. "Now we ask you one question." Zira met her gaze. "Escape," the commander said. "Or fight." A long silence. Then Zira stood up. "I came here on a lie. I lost someone who gave everything to protect a truth the galaxy buried. And I have nothing left to lose." She looked around. "So we fight." The room went quiet. Then the commander nodded. "Then we begin." Deep in the Alliance headquarters, Elira watched the data feed from Earth. She saw the new signals. Rising, resistance activity. Small, but growing. She didn't smile this time. Instead, she turned to her officers. "Burn every ruin, erase every trace, and tell the council this," and she walked to the screen. "The humans are awake." The hidden colony darkness surrounded Zira, but for the first time in days it felt like safety, not fear. Outpost 9 was buried beneath a mountain, hidden so deep that even Alliance scanners couldn't reach it. Metal tunnels hummed with quiet energy. People moved with purpose. Eyes were tired but full of something Zira hadn't seen in a long time. Hope. But hope wasn't enough to win a war. Commander Silent led Zira through a corridor lined with blueprints and old maps. "We have maybe 6 weeks before the Alliance sends ground troops," Silent said. "They'll send more bots. New tech. We can't stop them in open battle." "So what do we do?" Zira asked. Silent stopped at a locked door. turned the dial slowly. We stopped hiding. The door opened, and behind it was a teleportation gate. Zira stepped back. This is forbidden tech. Alliance level. We stole it, Seelan replied. Long ago. Where does it lead? Seelan looked her dead in the eye. To a place that shouldn't exist. They arrived in a cave system lit by golden crystals. The walls were ancient, but the structure was not. Steel platforms. Defense turrets, hydro farms and voices, hundreds of them. Humans. Zira's breath caught. This is the hidden colony, Seelan said. Not just survivors, scientists, architects, children born in silence, waiting for the day to rise again. How many are here? Over 4,000. Maybe more in the outer tunnels. Zira stepped forward, eyes wide. Families walked by. Old men, trained young scouts. A child laughed while holding a wooden model of an Earthship. They've never seen the stars, Zira whispered. No, Seelan said, but they dream of them every night. In the heart of the colony was a massive hall. Old flags hung on the walls, Earth symbols, resistance emblems, even tattered Alliance banners stolen from destroyed bases. There, Zira was led to an old woman sitting in a powered chair, tubes attached to her arms. Her face was pale, but her eyes sharp. This is High Matron Ella Dral, Seelan said, founder of the colony. Zira froze. Dral? Like Ray Dral? Ella nodded slowly. My grandson. Zira stepped forward, unsure. He saved me, died for the truth. Ella touched her hand. Then his death will mean something. He was always too much like his grandfather. He told me humans were forgotten, Zira said. But now I see. You were never lost. You were hidden. Ella's voice was soft but firm. Truth survives best in the dark, until it's ready to burn the sky. Later, Zira stood alone on a cliff inside the colony cave. She watched the lights flicker below as people built weapons, grew food, trained for war. She felt something shift inside her. She was no longer just a scout, no longer just a runaway. She was becoming something else. Someone else. Her past didn't define her anymore. Her choices did, but not everyone trusted her. A group of resistance soldiers watched her closely, whispered behind her back. One night, as she returned to her quarters, a knife flashed from the shadows. She blocked it just in time, but the blade cut her arm. Blood hit the ground. You're one of them, the attacker hissed. You were made by them, Alliance pet. Zira kicked him back. Disarmed him. He hit the wall and slid down, bleeding from the lip. I'm nothing like them, she said. You don't know what you are. He threw a small data chip at her feet. Read it, and decide who you really serve. Then he limped. Away. Zira stared at the chip for a long time. Finally, she plugged it into a private console. A series of logs appeared, classified. Zira Unit 0 and 7. Her breath stopped. She read, Subject Zira is half human, designed to be loyal, emotionally adaptive. Memory wiped at age 6, trained for infiltration. Goal, reach Earth, confirm extinction, destroy any remaining evidence. Override protocols implanted, voice activated by Command Officer Alira. Her hands trembled. She wasn't just a tool, she was a weapon. Rage, shame, confusion all hit her at once. But then she remembered Ray's voice. Then we fight them twice. Once outside, and once inside you. She took a deep breath, and she deleted the protocol from her core. Her voice steady, she whispered, I choose who I am now. Commander Seelan called a meeting of all unit leaders. Zira stood in the shadows, listening. We can't wait anymore, Seelan said. They know we're alive. They'll burn this world to erase us. But they don't know what we've built. One soldier asked, What about reinforcements? The Forbidden Zone, the other colonies? Seelan nodded. They're coming. We've lit the signal across the system. But what about weapons? Zira stepped forward. I have an idea. They all turned to her. You want to hit the Alliance? Hard? she said. Then we take back their own tech. How? We infiltrate their surface outpost, the one built above the ruins. It holds a forge core, capable of powering planetary defense grids. If we take it, we control the air. Silent narrowed her eyes. You think you can get in? Zyra held up the data chip. I was made by them. I know their blind spots. I know their fail-safes, and I'm done running. That night, Zyra prepared with a small strike team. Merrick volunteered. Others followed. As she strapped on her armor, half resistance metal, half stolen Alliance gear, she looked at herself. In the mirror, not alien, not tool, not traitor, warrior. This time, she whispered, we fight with fire. In orbit, Commander Elira received a strange report. Movement detected in Zone 14. Unknown signals. Not machine. She stared at the screen. Send a probe. Already did, the soldier said. But it was destroyed. Elira frowned. Then, we go ourselves. Ground forces? No, she said. Send the purge ships. Full bombardment. She stared at the image of Earth. We warned them once. Deep in the colony, Zyra and her team stepped into the stolen teleport gate. The countdown began. In her hand, Zyra held a small device, Ray's old neural core fragment. She tapped it. It blinked once. Ready to activate, Zyra whispered. Let's bring the sky down. Hope for humanity. The sky was burning again. Earth's upper atmosphere lit up in waves of fire and metal as Alliance purge ships entered orbit. They didn't hide now. They didn't need to. This was no longer cleanup. It was extermination. In a hidden teleport room below the surface, Zyra stood in complete silence, eyes locked on the countdown screen. 10:43 to jump. She wore hybrid armor, part resistant steel, part stolen Alliance tech. A pulse rifle across her back, Ray's data core embedded in her chest plate. Beside her stood Merrick, older now in his eyes, and 3 others, hand-picked for a mission most wouldn't come back from. You don't have to do this, Commander, Silent had said before they left. I do, Zyra had replied. Because I was made to destroy Earth, now I'll help save it. The gate lit up. The jump began. They arrived inside an abandoned transport tunnel beneath the Alliance's planetary outpost, the same place where Ray had once taken her for safety. Now she returned, not as a visitor, but as a storm. Movement, above, Merrick whispered. 2 sentries. Mechanical. Zyra raised a hand, waited, then gave the signal. The team moved like shadows, disabling the machines in seconds. No noise, no alarms. They climbed up through service shafts until the inner compound came into view. Metal walls, power cores glowing blue, screens showing Earth cities and forests marked in red. The forge core sat in the center, heavily, guarded. If we activate that, Zyra whispered, we can shut down their orbital tracking, blind them. But how do we reach it? One of the soldiers asked. Zyra smiled. We don't sneak in. We light a fire. She tapped her gauntlet. From deep in her chest armor, Ray's neural core fragment blinked once. Tactical override ready. Zyra gave the command. Shut down non-lethal protocols. The power grid inside the compound flickered. Doors slid open. Resistance fighters from outside, hundreds of them, charged through. The war had begun. In orbit, Commander Elira watched the chaos unfold. Explosions, static feeds, bot armies shutting. Down. Her second officer turned to her. Forged core breach confirmed. Rebels inside the base. Elira's jaw tightened. How? We believe Zyra is leading them. She didn't blink. Then it's time I dealt with her myself. She stood. Ready? My pod. Inside the forge chamber, Zyra fought like lightning. Fast, brutal, precise. But the machines kept coming. Merrick held the eastern door with 2 others. One fell, the other lost an arm. Zyra reached the core console, typing fast. The data fragment from Ray integrated with the system, transmitting full satellite override. Come on, she whispered. Hold together. Just as the data finished uploading, a powerful blast threw her across the room. She hit the wall hard, gasping. Through the smoke, a single figure stepped in. Elira, dressed in sleek black armor glowing with anti-amp shields. Face calm, eyes cold. "You've caused quite the mess," Elira said. Zira stood slowly. "You lied to the galaxy. To me." "I built you," Elira replied. "And now you try to kill your own maker? I'm not your weapon anymore." Elira stepped closer. "You were never meant to choose, you were meant to function. Then maybe you should have made me weaker." Elira raised her hand. A pulse beam fired. But Zira dodged, rolled, fired back. They clashed in a brutal fight. Blade versus blade, strength versus will. Outside, the resistance pushed back waves of bots. Inside, the two women collided like fire and shadow. Finally, Elira caught Zira's throat, slammed her against the wall. "You think humans deserve a second chance?" she hissed. "They destroy everything." Zira choked out the words. "They also rebuild everything." Elira's grip tightened, but Zira's fingers found the trigger on her core pack. A short burst of EMP energy. Elira's shield sparked. Broke. Zira headbutted her. Hard. Then swung. The final blow landed. Elira dropped. Not dead, but broken. Zira stood over her. "This is the difference between us," she said. "You erase what you fear, I protect what I believe in." The forge core clicked. The final override uploaded. Resistance forces regained full satellite control. Orbital strikes stopped. Global surveillance collapsed, and across the stars, the truth began to spread. From forgotten colonies to outlaw stations, humans and sympathizers watched the hacked broadcast. We are not extinct. We are awake, and we remember everything. In the following hours, Alliance bots deactivated across key zones. Ships were grounded. Command networks failed. And under the surface of a once broken Earth, survivors opened their eyes. The cryopods in the deep chamber began to glow. The last of humanity began to wake. Days later, Zira stood on a cliff overlooking a green valley. Birds flew above. Water flowed in the distance. The war had stopped. For now. Commander Silent walked beside her. "You should know," Silent said. "The Council has fallen into chaos. Half of them disappeared. The rest are denying everything." "They always will," Zira replied. "We've lost many. But you lit the fire. Humanity owes you." "No," Zira said. "They owe Ray." Silent nodded. "What will you do now?" Zira looked at the sky. "I was made in a lab, shaped by liars, used as a tool." She turned. "Now, I want to help build a world where no one is ever made like that again. And the resistance? I'll stay, fight where needed, train new leaders, but not as a commander." "Then what?" Zira smiled slightly. "As a human, in a far-off sector in deep space, something stirred. An unknown ship drifted in shadows, watching. Inside, a figure watched the message replay again and again. We are not extinct. He closed the transmission and smiled. Then the real war is only just beginning.